Welcome back, Hokie Nation, to this edition of TSL Today. Again on Friday, February 10th, 2023. Giovanni Heater, Carter Hill, Kyle Marshak behind the scenes back with you. And Gio, let's get into Virginia Tech Notre Dame tomorrow. The Hokies traveling to South Bend to take on the Fighting Irish inside Purcell Pavilion at 2 p.m. on your regional sports network. Locally, that is on Massim, but it differs across the East Coast and around the country. Notre Dame picked to finish 6th in the ACC, although not quite having the season they were hoping to have in Mike Brey's final season at the helm.
No, they're not. Currently sit 10-14 on the year, 2-11 in conference play. Notre Dame just has been a little disappointing. You look at some of their guys to watch out for, and you look at their season leaders right now. J.J. Starling's a guy that comes to the eye because he's your 5-star freshman. In fact, he was the biggest recruit that Mike Brey has ever brought to Notre Dame. The only consensus 5-star guy that they brought in. McDonald's All-American, Jordan Brand Classic game. I mean, he's top of the line.
Where did he go to high school?
He went to high school in Syracuse, New York.
There you go, yeah.
He did. He is from Syracuse, New York. But no, he's a great scorer for them. He's scoring 12 points a game right now. He can dish the ball. More of a scoring point guard. But right now, Kyle Laszewski is actually leading the team right now, 14.2 points per game. Also leads in rebounds. Excuse me, Nate Laszewski. My apologies. Trey Wirtz is a guy to look out for as well at the guard spot. I could see some matchup problems here, especially with who are you going to put on Laszewski. He is their best scorer, probably going to be Mutz's job. That's going to be a battle to look out for, Laszewski and Mutz on the inside. But when you look statistically overall at these two teams and kind of try and compare them right now, Tech's coming in averaging 74 points a game, Notre Dame 70 points a game. And when you look at how many they're allowing, Tech's allowing 68. Notre Dame's allowing 72. They're pretty comparable.
Yeah, and Laszewski, if I'm remembering correctly, gave the Hokies and Keve Aluma some problems last year. Yes, he's your big guy down low, but he can shoot the ball as well. 41% from three. He shoots 87% from the line and 53% from the floor. So he is certainly a matchup problem for Virginia Tech and all these opposing teams that Notre Dame's facing. Cormac Ryan, too, somebody that put up 20 points last year in the ACC tournament quarterfinal game between these two clubs. Again, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, the Hokies have won the last 4 in this series. They're seeking their second straight victory inside Purcell Pavilion. This Notre Dame team, arguably maybe the biggest disappointment in the ACC when you look at where they were picked and how they're playing this year. Again, Mike Brey's final year at the helm, 23 years at Notre Dame. He's kind of the last. I mentioned in our hit this morning in our 3304 Sports Studio show, he's kind of that next wave of coaches throughout college basketball to trade the bench for the beach. It seems like we're going through this entire wave of Coach K and Roy Williams and Jay Wright, and now Mike Brey is out the door as well. So
maybe Boeheim's next.
Yes, in your case, I think you're hoping that Boeheim is next.
I'm gonna get like assaulted in the comments right now.
Well, no, I brought it up. No. So yeah, no, it's just one of those things too where I think he's just ready to get out the door. But yeah, Notre Dame seeking kind of a big time victory to steer their season back on track and avoid playing on day one of the ACC tournament, but certainly not having the season they were hoping to have. All right, on the women's side of things, too, I want to get into this briefly. Virginia Tech hosting Florida State.
Yes.
This upcoming Sunday, 2 p.m. on the ACC Network. The Seminoles, the third straight ranked team, 3 out of 5 in a row that the Hokies are playing in the AP Top 25. And this Florida State team in the top 20 for a reason. They're coming off of that loss to Miami. But this is another tough matchup for this Virginia Tech team. Yeah,
I mean, you look at, too, when you look at the schedule of Florida State, look who they've beat. They beat Duke. Right, they did lose to Notre Dame and actually in blowout fashion, which is kind of a head scratcher there. But when you beat Duke and Duke just beat Virginia Tech, you're like, okay, this is a good team. They beat North Carolina, who's also very good. They beat Miami the first time around. They hung in there with a very, very good projected 1-seeded UConn team earlier this season back in December. This is a very good Florida State basketball team. There's no way to spin that. Miami's a team that beat Virginia Tech. And this is a game at Miami. Virginia Tech lost at Miami. Not that it's a hard place to play atmosphere-wise. They're just incredibly well coached with good players. You saw what they did in the ACC tournament last year. Miami reminds me of Virginia Tech like the last 3 years or so.
Yeah.
It's like Miami's like trying to make that push to be like, okay, we're a consistent top 25 team. Losing to Miami, especially on the road, is not like a serious disappointment. Miami went to the ACC championship game a year ago and hung in there with NC State. They're very good. They're very well coached. So I don't think you can look at that and be like, like Florida State should have won that game. I think the thing that jumps out to me is they went ahead and took care of business against Duke and beat them by double digits.
And my apologies, it's actually the second ranked game in a row for Virginia Tech.
Out of
Hokies
5.
So during that 5-game stretch, the Hokies, they already went on the road to meet NC State. They're hosting Florida State. They host Duke and host NC State. So this is a huge 3-game homestand for Virginia Tech and all those teams as well. Then they go on the road to Chapel Hill on Thursday, February 23rd to face off against 14th ranked North Carolina. Virginia Tech right now, should the season end today, would be the 4th seed in the ACC tournament. This is a crucial matchup because these two teams are very, very even, like you mentioned. And Virginia Tech, obviously, coming off of that huge win in Raleigh back on Monday against NC State. Georgia Amor, Liz Kitley, we talked about it a little bit earlier this week, but scored all but 3 points in the second half. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Tech's going to have their hands full with Tania Latson for Florida State. She's really, really good, averaging 22 points a game right now. She's their, obviously, leading scorer. Shoots the ball at almost 50% from the floor. Not big, 5'8". So I'm really excited to see the offensive matchup. I mean, you could just see trading buckets between Amor and Latson. That could be fireworks in the making in Castle.
No doubt. And I did pull up the ACC women's basketball standings just for reference. Currently, Duke is leading the ACC at 11-2 in the conference. Notre Dame, though, they are now without Dara Mabry, is 10-3. Virginia Tech, Florida State, Louisville, and Miami are all tied for 3rd. Again, currently, the Hokies would be the 4 seed. They are, though, tied with Florida State in the standings, and this is the lone time these two teams will meet up this season. So this is a huge opportunity for Virginia Tech to kind of gain some distance and further solidify themselves in the top 4.
Here's a big difference, too. Florida State's averaging 83 points a game. They can score the rock.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia Tech is a decent defensive team, no doubt about that. Actually, I would say they're a very good defensive team. They're only averaging 74 points a game, and that's kind of been the struggle, not against NC State, but the games that Tech has lost is when they struggled to score. When teams held Kitley and Amor and kind of forced everyone else to do everything, Tech lost those games. When those two combined for 11 points like they did a couple of weeks ago, Tech loses those games. So it could be a shootout, and it's like who can outlast, who can score more. Obviously, that's the objective of the game, but Florida State can score in bunches. Tech could have their hands full with that. And Tech's going to, in order to win this game, Tech's going to have to score more than 75 points.
Well, again, tomorrow, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame from Purcell Pavilion in South Bend. And then on Sunday, 19th ranked Florida State and 11th ranked Virginia Tech. That is inside Castle Coliseum at 2 p.m. on the ACC Network. Well, that'll do it for today's edition of TSL Today. For Giovanni Heater across the way, Kyle Marshak, today's best podcast producer in the land. Behind the scenes. Oh, no, I'm not going to stop it. Behind the scenes is Kyle Marshak. And I'm Carter Hill saying so long from the high-tech TSL studios at the Virginia Tech Corporate Research Center in Blacksburg, Virginia. We'll talk to you on Monday after, hopefully, 2 huge victories for the Hokies. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Peace.